Hi folks, welcome to the EV Lease Deals of the month for February 2024. There's a link to LeaseLoco in the video description that I'd really appreciate it if you used, if you're interested in any of these deals or indeed having a look at any others. 3 months up front, 3-year deals on 10,000 miles a year is what we're looking at in this video. Of course, it's very easy to change that profile up to something that suits you a bit better. Please give this video a thumbs up. I'm asking for it right at the start, so the maximum number of people give it a thumbs up. It all helps with the algorithm. And a quick thanks to the people that have booked a call with me via my website, notaguru.co.uk. Spoken to several people in the last couple of weeks that are looking at possibly changing their car, not sure whether to lease or to buy. We've looked at cars, I've sent them some examples and things. So yeah, hopefully everyone feels like they're getting good value for money on that. And I hope to see a few more of you soon on the calls. Right, let's get on, shall we? We are starting things off with a cheap one. It's a very, very small car, but maybe a good second car for your family, or might be an ideal car if you're in the city. The VW E-Up, 253 quid a month on this one, and 761 up front, 160 miles of range, 82 horsepower, only insurance group 10. So that could be a key bit of information for you. Average price on it's been 339 quid a month. Now, this time last year, it was 263, so not too different to now. And at its lowest point, it was about 233, and its highest point, 443. And that came literally a couple of weeks ago, just at the end of Jan there. 761 up front and 253 a month. Now we've got the Leaf, the old favourite. Let's just look at the price history on this one first. Highest price on it, 423. Crikey. Just for a brief period last summer, about 6 weeks maybe. But this is more or less the cheapest price we've seen it. Actually, we've seen it for a tenner a month less than this. This time last year, it was £310 a month, currently 262, 168 miles of range, 150 horsepower, insurance group 24, and 435 litres of boot space. The upfront on this one, by the way, 787. Next, we've got the Mokka E 100 kilowatt GS, £329 a month, and an upfront of 989, 206 miles of range, insurance group 21, 136 horsepower, 0 to 62 in 9.2 seconds. This time last year, look at the price of it, 609 quid. Oof, that's a lot of money to ask for a Mokka E, if you ask me. Look at this, at its peak, 772 quid. That was on the 1st of Jan. 772 quid a month for a Mokka. Currently, 329. Not a bad saving, is it, folks? Upfront payment on that one, 989 and £329 a month. The Mokka's very popular, quite a cool looking little thing. You could do worse. If you want a bit more real estate for your money, you can get this EC 400 kilowatt Shine Plus, £336 a month, 221 miles of range, 136 horsepower, 510 litres of boot space, insurance group 22. This time last year, that would have cost you 607 quid. In fact, it was over 500 right up until the end of October. Look at that, it was 676 at the end of October. And then it dropped. So currently we're at 336 a month with an upfront payment of just about £1,000. 0.62 on that one, by the way, is 10 seconds. But as you can see, that's a huge saving over its average price of 521 quid. If you want a car that's going to blow your underwear off, you could have a look at the MG4 X-Power. I've literally just had one of these in for review, so there's a review video on my channel. Go and check that out. 239 miles of range, 435 horsepower, insurance group 40, 289 litres of boot space. I think that's actually 363 litres of boot space, if memory serves. I could be wrong. 0 to 62, 3.8 seconds. This is a quick car. This is a very quick car. It's not without a few faults, though, so go and check out the review. But if you just want a performance car, this is a performance car. Make no mistake about it. This time last year, it was 529 a month. Currently, it's 386 a month, and the upfront payment is 1,159. Subaru Solterra next. I'm also going to show you the Toyota BZ4X. The Solterra is clearly the one to go for here, but there's one important thing to look at, and that's the insurance group. So it's 46 on this Solterra, according to the LeaseLoco site, and on the Toyota, it's only 38. So well worth getting an insurance quote on one of these before you press the button. 289 miles of range, 452 litres of boot space, 218 brake horsepower, 0 to 62 in 6.9 seconds. This time last year, 829 quid, average 695. Currently, the lowest price we've ever seen it at £375 a month. And if you do want to play around with mileages or anything like that, as you know, you just come up here and do all that kind of stuff, and you can see all the various ramifications to the price. Next, we've got the Skoda Enyaq. This one's the 60 edition, 247 miles of range, 179 horsepower, insurance group 25, 585 litres of boot space. This time last year, it would have set you back £720 a month. The average on it's been £547 a month. It's currently £423 a month, and that's with an initial payment of £1,269. I think it's a very handsome car. I think it's probably the best looking car that Skoda currently makes. This one's in a different trim, by the way. I think this one's Sportline trim, so it looks a little bit livelier. But in any case, very good looking car, nice and capacious, and it's not going to cost you the earth. Now, a big rival for the Enyaq is the Aria, and this is a very good car. Again, I've reviewed this, and I would sort of suggest you go and watch that video if you're thinking about one, because I was really surprised by this car. This is the advanced trim, 250 miles of range, 217 horsepower, insurance group 30, 466 litres of boot space, and 7.5 seconds to 62. This time last year, £719 a month. Yikes. 607's been the average, and it's currently 454. We have seen it cheaper than this. A couple of weeks ago, it was 430, I think. 436. There we go. I could take my information from the screen, couldn't I? That would be a good idea. But I was really, really surprised in a good way by this car. So again, well worth checking out that review. 454 quid a month with an upfront of 1,364. That's against an average of 607 quid a month. Next, we've got one of my favourite cars, not just one of my favourite EVs, but one of my favourite cars. It's the Ioniq 6. I took one of these across Europe in one day, and no buggers watched the video, so I'm going to link to it at the end of this video. So please go and watch it, because I think it's my finest work, and hardly anyone has. 499 quid a month, this one, with an upfront payment of 1,498. Now look at this. This time last year, 753 quid a month. And the average on it's been 631. I mean, this is a very, very good car. I don't know what happened at the end of Jan, but there was evidently one for 427 quid. I'm imagining that was possibly one car, maybe a cancelled order or something. So I don't have any recollection of that deal being around for any length of time whatsoever. So it might have been a bit of a one-off, I'm not sure. But 499 quid a month versus an average of 631 and versus 753 that it was last year starts to make a lot of sense. Look at the numbers on it, because this is what it's all about with this car. 339 miles of range, 228 brake horsepower, insurance group 36. Boot space, I think, is 400 and something from memory. But the charging time is something to look at. They make no reference to what that charging time actually means, so I can't tell you. But what I can tell you about it, I charged those on Ionity chargers doing that European trip I did, and I've never ever seen a car charge so fast. It was incredible. It was a glorious thing to drive. Both me and Tom that I did the video with completely fell in love with the car. So I can't recommend it highly enough. £499 a month versus an average of £631. Don't forget, links in the video description to LeaseLoco. And if you don't use it, I will hunt you down. Next one's the VW ID5 Tech Pro Performance. Underpinnings of this one, basically the same as the Enyaq, but this one is a little bit more rangy than the Enyaq we looked at earlier. With 323 miles of range, 204 brake horsepower, insurance group 31, 549 litres of boot space. 0 to 62 in 8.4 seconds, and an upfront payment of £1,501. 665 has been the average. This time last year, £798. At its peak, £822. £500 and 40 pence, the price we've got on it now, is the best price it's ever been. Okay, simple as that. So if you're in the market for an ID5 and you'd like to have it at the lowest price we've seen it, get this one. Next, we've got the VW ID Buzz. Unfortunately, no longer at those pre-Christmas prices, but still a hell of a lot cheaper than it was this time last year. 251 miles of range, 204 brake horsepower, insurance group 33, 1,121 litres of boot space. I like these things very, very much. I think it's a really good car, and for a family, it's just a bit of a no-brainer, really. Shame there's no 7-seat version available, at least not yet. I know there is a long wheelbase 7-seat version coming in future. No one's doing conversion kits for these, which is a little bit annoying as well. 804 quid a month has been the average, so we're £300 less than the average basically. Up front on this one, by the way, is 1,550. This time last year, it was £897 a month. So we're nearly 400 quid a month less than it would have cost you this time last year, and 300 quid a month less than the average. So this seems like not too bad a time to get into one. Obviously, before Christmas, on this profile, you would have been paying 456, and that's the lowest we've seen it, but the highest we've seen it's 940 at 516 quid a month with 1,500 up front. I still feel like this is a very good value deal. Polestar 2 next. This is the standard range single motor, 528 quid a month with an upfront of 1,586. 0 to 62 in 6.4 seconds, 322 miles of range, 272 horsepower, 405 litres of boot space, and insurance group 40. A lot of people are making fuss at the moment because Polestar seem to be in financial peril. Someone will buy it. They've simply done too much. The brand is worth too much at this stage for it not to be purchased, or maybe it will get brought back into Volvo or something. But I really have no worries for Polestar as a brand whatsoever because they are fantastic cars. Price history on this one, £616 a month has been the average. At its peak, £682.28, and its lowest price is right now. £528.72 is as cheap as we've seen it. I think the Polestar 2 is a very special car. Again, there's a review of that on my channel should you wish to go and search for it. Right, Tesla Model Y. A few people got upset recently because I didn't show Tesla's own direct deal. I showed the LeaseLoco deal. So I'll tell you what, I'll put my link to Tesla in this as well in case you want to go direct. But it will cost you more money than doing it via LeaseLoco from what I can see. So this is 9 months up front and 432 a month. Tesla do this daft thing where they show you the price after their estimated fuel savings. So they're saying, oh, you're going to save £2,000 on petrol, so it's actually only costing you this per month. I think that's a little bit misleading and a bit of a nonsense. So this is the number to look out for. £432 a month is your monthly payment and 9 months up front. So if we look at that same profile, 3 years, 10,000 miles, by the way, it's 419 quid a month on LeaseLoco for that same profile. If we go to our normal 3+3, then you're up to £492 a month. And if we look at the price history on that, you'll see that £492 a month is the cheapest price we've seen on a Tesla Model Y. This time last year, 554. Average on it's been 567. Currently 492. I've got one. I love it. The family love it. Got absolutely no problems with it whatsoever. Just last weekend we took it on a little bit of a family trip up to York. I charged it at a supercharger, literally a stone's throw from the motorway at Mansfield Designer Outlet, and we got from 20-something% to 100% in 22 minutes, and it was 35p a kilowatt hour. 35p. And that is still something that Tesla has over all the other brands, is that you've got that supercharger network and it can be very cheap for a Tesla owner. The last deal we got for you in this one is the Lexus RZ 450e Direct 4 Auto Premium Plus, 650 quid a month. Up front on that one's 1,951. Again, a lovely car. Build quality is amazing, as you would expect in a Lexus. This time last year, £1,000 a month. At its highest point, 1,050. 901 has been the average, currently 650. That is a huge drop. We're talking 250 quid a month less than the average and £400 a month less than its peak price. So stunning deal at the moment. 1,951 up front, £650 a month. And it gets you into this, the Lexus RZ, which is a very, very nice car indeed. Thank you ever so much for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. And please, dear God, use my link to LeaseLoco because it's pretty much the only way I'm funding this channel at the moment. So please use that link. I'm now going to put that video up that I've banged on about, I don't know how many times in the past, of me taking the Ioniq 6 across Europe with my good mate Tom Shorrock. Go and show it some love.